Good morning. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Alison and we're going to run through a presentation which is part of mental health and money advice. If you've got any questions, please let tomorrow know, and we'll open your mic up then for you to ask any questions. What we'll do, we'll run through the presentation. I'll go through a story, a life experience, and then we'll talk at the end a little bit about another project that we're on and give you an overview. So when you're all ready, we can start the slides. Okay, my name is Alison Dahlgren and I'm the Service Manager for Mental Health and Money Advice. We've been on the project since 2017 and we're a small team that covers Wales. And if you want to go on to the next slide. What is mental health and money advice? Well, our project is about mental health and money advice, and it is brought to you by Mental Health UK. I don't know if any of you might have heard of that before. In Wales, it's delivered by Addysg. Addysg is a very large project for mental health in Wales, and it covers most of Wales. If you haven't seen it, please look at Addysg and also Mental Health and Money Advice. Mental Health and Money Advice aims to help people understand, manage and improve both their financial and their mental health. We do this through our website, and we've got the link for the website, and you will probably have the slides, but we can email over the website as well. At present, the website is being rebuilt, so the old website is there. The new one will have all the same kind of tools, but it's a really good tool to use with clients. I'll run through some of the things later on. Our staff also take casework which is related to welfare benefits, debts and other money matters, providing expert specialist advice on money matters over the phone and in writing. The nations we cover is mental health in UK, Rethink is in England, Change is in Scotland, Addysg is in Wales, and Mind is in Northern Ireland. So we cover each area. If you want to go on to the next slide. Who is the service for? The service is aimed at 4 main client groups: people who are living with long-term mental health condition and are struggling with money. They could be debt, welfare benefits, financial capability. People who have money problems, have started and negatively impacted on their mental health. We have a lot of that client group. Carers, friends of relatives of people struggling with money and mental health problems. We have a large amount of carers that support family members and friends. Professionals who are working with people mentioned above. This group may wish to seek information from the website rather than our direct advice line. We're not trained in business debt, but if someone is self-employed and has regular income and no business debt, we can help. If you want to pop the next slide. The team can advise on a wide range of mental health and money issues. This might include welfare benefits, ensuring they are receiving all the help that they're entitled to, supporting and empowering, because it's always important that you empower vulnerable clients to fill in benefit applications. Income maximisation increases the amount of money coming in and minimises money going out. Debt options for repaying priority debts and non-priority debts, and look at debt resolution. Now we'll have a little look at that further on in the slides. If you want to go on to the next slide. How are mental health and money worries linked? Worrying about money can impact your mental health, while living with mental health condition can make earning and managing money more difficult. We see this every day. It's a large part of trying to move forward and recover is to deal with these things. Debts and mental health problems can be caused by redundancy, bereavement, relationship breakdowns, abuse, or may just arise naturally. Debt, mental health issues and links between them are rarely discussed, yet they are very common. When debt mounts up, so does stress and anxiety. Research by Money and Mental Health Policy Institute has shown that mental health problems can also make it difficult to manage money on a day-to-day basis. This can affect motivation, judgment, and income, as well as your ability to carry out tasks such as making phone calls and opening post. We see this a lot as well. You want to go on to the next slide? This is our wheel. You can't see it very well here. I'm not sure if we can make it bigger. But the wheel is that's lovely. It would start probably with mental health problems, possibly difficulty managing your finance, loss of income, increased spending, finding it hard to budget. It becomes money problems, it increases stress, anxiety, or financial health. The wheel goes round. It's like the washing machine. It can start with money problems. It just can go all the way round. So it's about dealing with them. So if we slide over slightly, we break it down to two areas: money guidance and advice, income maximisation and or both, and mental health support. This is a caption now from our website, which you can see on the top. It's got a home, a welfare benefit, and money and mental health and care, tools and top tips. If you've never seen this website, please have a little look at it. We'll run through some bits now of what is in it. As I say, there will be a new one, but this is a really good one. It's in Welsh as well. You can change it by any language. There's lots of different languages on there. But this is the Wales site, and you can do drop-down boxes to the right-hand side for whatever language would suit you or a client or any members of anybody. So it'll give you clear practical advice and support for people experiencing issues with mental health and money. This is the Welsh version, just to give you a caption of how it is in Welsh. And that is by the right drop-down box on the right-hand corner. This is part of it. It's part of the tools, which you'll see across the line at the top. You will go over to tools, you will click tools, and it will go down. Now there's lots of sections, but there's a savings calculator where you can pop in how much you want to save, and it will work out how many weeks you before the dates and work it out for you. It's quite good. Have a little look at it. And it's the budget planner. This is excellent. We trialed this with Money Helper. I think it might be on the next slide if you click down. Yeah, we work with Money Helper, and the budget planner is excellent. You run through it. If you haven't done a budget planner for a while, go on it, try it. You'll pop your details in, it'll save it, you put your email in, you can change it. So it's quite a flexible planner. When you've put everything in, it will give you some tips of different things as well. So if you've got a chance, give that a try. There's the debt health check. This is absolutely brilliant. It's set out with a few questions. You would fill it in online, and then it will give you at the side things that maybe you need to address. For instance, if you've got council tax debt, it will tell you to get in contact with council tax. It'll give you a little bit more information. Lots of people got Welsh water debt. It will give you information there, and it'll give you links. Give it a go, pop on, just press all the buttons. Doesn't save you. It doesn't save you anything. So you can go in it as many times as you want. The Mental Health and Money Toolkit. Now, anybody or yourself, anybody at all, we do a toolkit. It is in Welsh as well. The toolkit is quite a big booklet, and it's about a journey. It's about reading it, see if you identify it, and the journey will run you through of how to deal with things in little areas, and it will help you move forward. Lots of clients just want advice and they want to be empowered, and this toolkit will empower. It is a booklet, and you can download it. Obviously, you can print it off. And if you're working with clients, it's a really good tool to use. If you've got time, please go into it and have a look at it. So if you want to pop down to the next slide. This is how to use the toolkit. It's a resource to help understand, manage and improve mental health and financial health. Even if you haven't got a mental health, it's a really useful booklet to use. It will guide you through different things, conversations, healthcare, and different areas. And it is a really good booklet, as I've said. Prioritization, I can't even say this word, prioritization. Low mood, anxiety, impulsive mania can all be aspects of mental health which affect ways of spending money. In lockdown, we had lots and lots of people mental health had really, really dropped. Their psychosis, they were in hospital. We worked with the local hospitals and we tried to make things better. This gives you an overview and examples of how you will manage, how you can fall behind, how much money you've got left, how you can deal with it. If you've missed a bill payment, always seek advice. You can go to a debt advisor, any type of organisation, go on the planner. If you've got a healthcare worker, they may be able to support you or signpost you. So if you want to pop down, this is in the booklet or part of that booklet. Priority bills. When I go into meetings, I'm really surprised that people don't understand priority bills and non-priority bills. So it's important to understand. A priority bill means you will lose something if you don't pay it, because you might lose something that's more important than other bills. A non-priority payment is where if you don't pay it, you won't lose anything that's that important. So it can sometimes go to legal action, but we'll talk about that. Sometimes the worst that can happen is the credit card rating might be affected. Priority bills include, if you want to go down to the next slide, mortgage and loans on your home. These are the top ones. You can have repossession of your property. If you don't pay your mortgage, it'll go into legal action, it'll go to court, you can lose your property. Rent arrears, if you go into rent arrears and they take legal action, you can look at eviction of that property, and then it's very difficult for you to get another property because you've made yourself intentionally homeless by not paying your rent. Council tax, they use bailiffs. We all know they use bailiffs. They use collection companies. They're really heavy-handed. The bailiffs will collect the debt, deductions from wages, that can go through benefits. It is easier if you're on benefits to pay any type of debt for council tax because they'll take it at source. In England is imprisonment. We don't do that in Wales, so we're safe in Wales. Gas and electric, it is disconnection, but they will put meters in. You will have a warrant. They will enter the property. It'll go to court first, obviously, and they will fit meters. This stopped over lockdown, but it is now being reintroduced. They'll fit them. You can top the meter up, and they will take an amount off the meter off the debt, and they'll do that first. Magistrate court fines. People get confused between fines and magistrate court fines. Magistrate court fines, they can cause imprisonment. They will do deductions from wages and they will take them from benefits. But it's really important that people understand that magistrate court fines are very important to pay. Child maintenance, they can take deductions from wages. It says imprisonments. I don't think we have done imprisonments for a long, long time. So that isn't a resource that they would normally use at all now. Now, the non-priority debts. Now, these could be credit cards, store cards, catalogues, unsecured bank payday loans, loans from friends and family, overdrafts, water and sewage. The odd one out there is water and sewage. They can't cut you off with water, but they can take you to court. and they can get creditors to chase you. If you own your own property, they will put a charging order on your property. So if you own a property, it's slightly different. Lots of schemes that Welsh Water can do to support you, or a debt advisor and other agencies. They will all catch up with you at the end, because usually with all of these, they will eventually go to court. Usually about 5.5 years, you will probably see them in court and they will get a court order. But because there's quite a bit of time when we deal with clients, often we get debts written off and we look at debt resolution. But if you want to pop down, okay. When you're ready to seek advice, you can get help well prepared. Can you make the slide slightly bigger, guys, anyway? Oh, lovely, thank you. When you're ready to seek advice, it can be great help to be well prepared. Your debt advisors will ask you about your income, your outgoings, and money you owe. Even friends and family is a debt, and they would have to have an even share. If you go to debt advisors, if we pick somebody up and you owe mum £500, that isn't a priority debt. It has to go down in the non-priority debt in equal payments. Any assets or saving that you may have. We look at this because we have to look at a bigger picture. Because we do debt resolution, for instance, if you've got a car that's over the threshold, there's some options that you can't proceed with. So we'd run through that with people, or you can look at that. This will give you a full picture of situation and give you advice on be tailored to your needs. For example, the option might be based on your budget, or they have a rule out some options. That's the assets more than anything. If you have completed a budget sheet, I have this handy for the debt advisor's appointment, along with details of any other organisations or anybody you may owe money to. This would be useful if you go into a debt advisor or an option for money matters. There's lots of organisations and services locally in your areas. There'll always be a citizen's advice, and they also give advice on debts and benefits. So if you've got somebody who don't have mental health, this is a good resource to use. You can find your local citizens advice on a website. I've listed that website. Now, we do work with Step Change, which is a large debt charity, and they do in-house referrals. We do partnership working with them. So if they pick somebody up with severe mental health, they will pass them over to us to look after. So you'd have a one-to-one advisor. I'm going to read my story, but before we read the story, I want to explain how we work. We are funded by different agencies, and those agencies then would have direct access to make appointments through our dedicated portal. If you would have a client and they worked with Addysg or Cymru, and we do sanctuaries throughout Wales, which are an evening support service. If one of your clients was working with either of them, they would have access to the portal. So Step Change is another way that you would be able to make referrals through to us. But if you just had a question or a query, we try and triage you and we would signpost you, but we may not be able to pick you up to give you ongoing support. So I'm going to read a story, and I'm sorry if I do upset anybody. It is a story of one of my clients. I was a highly vulnerable client. I'll read this to you. Highly vulnerable is called the best day of my life. I picked up a highly vulnerable client who had slipped through the net with social services and other agencies. Because we offer holistic support, that would mean you get one advisor for your journey. You deal with that one advisor all the time. You don't have to repeat your story. We would support our clients in each area. That will be financial and well-being. An urgent referral came through to mental health and money advice for support with money matters. There was priority debts, and there was also bailiffs. The client had severe mental health and had physical disabilities. I identified the client had not showered or bathed for 25 years. He had no hot running water. The boiler was broken and the client had washed himself with wet wipes. The client lived in a private rented property. Now, this property was owned by his family member. Family ties had broken down. Threats were made to the client due to unpaid rent. One of his family members' friends had attacked the client. Numerous threats were being made. No engagement with other family or family members had broken away. The property had major repair issues. The bottom floor was flooded with sewage. There was rats within the property. The electrical items on the bottom floor were broken due to the sewage damage. The client lived in one room upstairs with his dog. It was his bedroom, his living room, his kitchen. It was everything. His dog was his best friend, and this was his lifeline. His neighbours helped with meals and shopping. Food shopping consisted of pot noodles, as the client only had access to a kettle in his room, no fridge, and no other means to cook. The client would often soil himself while sleeping. This was due to a bowel condition. The client slept in a sleeping bag. These were often soiled and put into black bags. And then out of his benefits, his neighbours would purchase new sleeping bags for him. Council tax, 5 years of arrears, litigation with bailiffs in place. The client had failed to make a claim for housing benefit 5 years, resulting in no rent being paid to the family member. 5 years of water debt and litigation was in place. Client was not claiming the correct benefits. The client was not ordering or collecting his medication. He was unable to make appointments to see his GP, and the client's access to his phone was incoming calls only. Social services intervention stopped 5 years ago. After this point, this is when things had got worse. Client's mail was floating in sewage. Client had lost trust in services. When I asked him what would be the best day of his life, his response was, I grow strong enough to get to the train station. I said, why? He said, to jump under the train. I asked, what if we work together, getting medical help, accommodation, getting the correct benefits in place, and dealing with his debts? His reply was, you could not do that. It would be a miracle. And miracles then started one by one. Not long after we started working with the client's dog died. This was a devastating moment. The client had a disability, gripping items. One evening, his tablets, which his neighbours emptied into a bowl, his medication had dropped to the floor. The dog ate the tablets and tragically he died. He had no way to contact anyone. The dog was on the floor until I called. It was a Friday. I didn't call till Monday. He couldn't contact the neighbours. I rang his neighbour. The neighbour came round and they buried the dog in the garden. I supported the client with daily phone calls. Over the period, due to his high risk, I was afraid he was going to take his life. We safeguarded him. There was very little we could put in place because the house wasn't safe to go in. Due to the lack of the client's capability to deal with matters, we needed hands-on support. We worked with Addysg. We made an urgent contact to his GP to explain his medical condition, and we arranged an appointment for the client. I made an appointment with a psychiatrist. I arranged day-to-day support worker to pick the client up and take him to the GP. I arranged for his prescriptions to be ordered each month, also dispensed to the client. Medical pads were ordered for nighttime accidents. Contact was made to council tax, advising all contact needed to go through me. Bailiffs' recovery stopped. Claims were made to council tax for reductions and backdate. I applied for severe mental capacity backdate. This could not be looked at until I could get PIP up and running. I made a PIP application. I wrote to the hospital, his GPs for his medical records. We filled in the form. It took me 26 hours just to fill the form in with the client. He wouldn't have been able to do this with other agencies. He wouldn't have been able to go to an agency unless they were able to deal with him over the phone or at his home. Applications were made for housing. This was done in partnership with Advariad, and they were fantastic. We got support and evidence, and the GPs were marvellous as well. The client was put on the housing register, but I didn't feel this was the correct band. I raised a concern. It was reviewed, and later on he was put into a higher band. We looked at options for accommodation, private renting, local housing allowance. We could not set the client up to fail. This just wasn't an option. We couldn't pay the shortfall of the private tenancies. Social services application was made for carers and support. Support was refused due to the sewage and the rats. Engagement with environmental health. Environmental health wanted to condemn the property. There was no temporary housing available. Environmental health agreed, due to the client's high level of mental health and physical disabilities, they would hold off on the proceedings. The client was scared. He really didn't want to move. I contacted Welsh Water for urgent help to resolve the sewage. On checks, this was the landlord's responsibility. I contacted the landlord. They refused. They wouldn't engage with me further. Welsh Water discount was put into place. The debts were managed by the Customer Assistance Fund. Grant applications were made to help the clients with the cost of clothing, bedding. I had a grant for a tabletop cooker and a fridge. We managed to take food banks to him. That was done by Advariad. They went each day to meet him by the property. I made applications for discounts and support. I made contacts to his outer family. And I also made another contact with his family member to get a new tenancy agreement in place. They refused. They wanted him out. They made threats towards me. I did contact the outer family. I was concerned for his well-being, and they agreed that they would help. Now, the outcome to all of this was his PIP award was awarded. We got severe disability award, council tax reduction. We had the council debt partially written off. I then asked for a Section 13A, which is an application made due to hardship and affordability. That was successful. That wrote the debt off. The water reductions were put in place. We had him on a customer assistance fund where the debt was written off over 12 months. We made a winter fuel application, warm home discount, and we had grants and food bank grants. We actually increased his money by £35,194.79. The non-financials were, we got him clothes, sleeping bags and donations. We actually got him moved to a supported housing environment, which provided in-house mental health support. He set up new support networks for ongoing help and support. We got him disabled equipment. His outer family took him out for days out and trips. Client now leads a happy life. In fact, he's got a disability car and he goes out and about. It's changed his life. His feedback was, "You've not only helped me, you've saved my life." Thank you for listening to my story. Is there any questions anybody would like to ask? Okay, if there's no questions, probably one question would be, how do you refer into our service? Because that usually is a question when I do different meetings. Again, you go through Advariad, Addysg Cymru, step change. Don't ever be afraid to send to send a query over. It was money@advariad.org is our email. Obviously, if we couldn't pick you up, we would signpost you. There isn't a phone number to contact us. We don't have a direct contact number, unfortunately. We do have a phone number, and when a client is picked up, we give the client that phone number, but we don't have direct access. Anything, as I say, money@advariad.org. You can email over, but because we're a small team of 7, now 6, because somebody's left, we cover the whole of Wales. We have to prioritise our clients that fund us, but we do try. We know that sometimes there's nowhere to go, but please don't be afraid to email us, and we'll see if we can triage you. And before I go, I just want to explain, we are working with Wales and West Utilities at the moment. We are promoting carbon monoxide, be awareness of carbon monoxide. I just want to run through, if you're in a rented accommodation, private rented accommodation, they must provide you with a carbon monoxide alarm. It's something they have to do. Please make sure your alarm works. Please get in contact with them if they don't. You can normally go through the local fire service as well. They will fit them. We are in different events. If we are there and you own your own property, we do have some carbon monoxide alarms. Unfortunately, we can't post them out because they're quite expensive. But if you're in any of our events, please approach us and we'll have alarms with us. Thank you. Okay. Now I've finished my presentation, I'll leave. And please remember, we don't really promote because we're so small. Please take the time to look at Advariad. They support clients with mental health. Not just mental health, they do drugs and alcohol. Please take time to Google their website and have a little look at them. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.